In today's note, we are going to look at the measures of central tendency. So all the information's here. I'm just going to go over and read through and highlight some of the important information, and I encourage you to do so as well in your notes. So there are three ways to find the common trend or central tendency for a set of data. So this is looking at kind of what the average is, or what the common trend is, or basically what the middle looks like of a set of data. So the first is the mean, and the mean is most commonly referred to as the average. So if you're finding the average of something, that's the mean. To find the mean, you have to add up all of the numbers in your list and divide by the number of numbers you have, or the number of items. The second thing is the median. And the median is the middle entry in an ordered list. And the key thing for an ordered list is that you have to put your numbers or your data points from least to greatest. So you have to order them. There are as many data points above it as below it. So basically the median is the middle point. And there are two situations in order to find the median. If there is an odd number of data points, take the middle one. So for example, if you have 13 numbers, the median is the value of the seventh number. So when you lay them all out, or you put them all in order and count to the seventh number, that's your median. The other option is if there is an even number of data points, you'll find that when you try to count to the middle, you'll come up with two different numbers. Right? If you count from one end, you'll get to one number, and if you count from the other end, you'll come to a different number. So if that happens, the median is the average of the middle two numbers. And I'll go up, and so odd number of data points, take the middle one. Even number of data points, average of the two middle numbers. And the third way to look at for the common trend is the mode. And the mode is the most frequent number in a data set. So basically it's the one that occurs the most. You can have a situation where there is no mode, so basically they all occur the same amount of time, and you can have more than one mode. So maybe there are two numbers that occur the same number of times more than the other ones. And we'll look at some examples when we come up with something like that. So all three measures of central tendency are good indicators of the trend in data, but at times some are better choices than others. The mean or the average is really good when the data is fairly close together. So if your data points are fairly close together, the mean is a good value to use. And it's the most common one. Usually you hear about the average, right? If you're thinking about marks or things like that, you look at the average. The median is good when there is an outlier. So an outlier is a number that is far away from the others. So say if everyone in a class got 80% on a test, and there's one person that got 30%. They're considered an outlier because they're a number that is far away from the others. So the median was good when there's an outlier. The mean is good when the data is fairly close together. And the mode is good when the value of the number is the most important information. So maybe you're looking for shoe size, or you're looking for number of siblings, or number of items, something along those lines. When the actual value is the most important thing, then that's when you want to look at the mode. So let's go through some examples. So in problem 1, a company has 200 employees earning $53,000 per year, 60 employees earning $63,000 per year, and 5 employees earning $73,000 per year. We want to calculate the mean, the median, and the mode. So the mode is going to be the easiest one because I want to know which one occurs the most. And if I look at that, the one that occurs the most is 200 200 employees earning 53,000. So the mode for salary is going to be 53,000. The median, if I want to arrange my numbers, I'm going to have, in total, there's 200 employees, 60 employees, and then 5. So in total, there's 265 employees. So I could write these numbers out if I wanted to and have a long line of 265 numbers. But because we know a vast majority, we know what each value is, and they're between basically 53,000, 63,000, and 73,000, I just have to go to where my middle number is going to be. And looking at this, if I have 265 employees, the middle value would have to be basically 265 divided by 2. So the middle value is going to be the 133rd number. So if I do so we're going to solve this one a little bit differently. So 265 divided by 2 equals 132.5, which will round to 133. So therefore, the median is at the 133rd position. And if I'm ordering them from least to greatest, if I look at this, I'm going to have 200 numbers, or the first 200 spots are going to be 53,000. So I know that my median would have to be 53,000. And finally, the mean is the average. So if I want to find the average, I have to add up all of my numbers and divide them by how many total numbers I have. So in this case, it's going to be a little bit different. So I have 200 numbers of the 53,000. Let me move some of this over. So I have 200 numbers at 53,000, or 200 values at 53,000, plus 60 at 63,000, plus 5 at 73,000, and I'm going to divide all of this by 265 because there are 265 numbers. So basically I just simplified it. So rather than do 53,000 plus 53,000 and do that 200 times, I'm just simplifying it by multiplying. So I can enter all of this into my calculator. So 200 times 53,000 plus 60 times 63,000 plus 5 times 73,000, all divided by 265. And I get an average salary of 55,641.51. So that means the average salary is $55,641.51. So B, the company claims that the median salary is $63,000. Is this a valid claim? Why or why not? So no, it is not valid. Just because it's the middle dollar amount doesn't mean it's the actual median, because when we lay out all the employees or all the values, we can see that it's not the median. So the median is actually, so it's no, it's not valid. The median is $53,000. Problem number 2, the hourly rates of employees of a supermarket are given. And we've laid them out here. I'm not going to go through and read them. But the first thing we want to do is, or the first part is find the mean, median, and mode. So the mean I can do by adding up all my numbers. So 9.25 plus 8.50 plus 16.25 plus 7.85 plus 8.50 plus 12.65 plus 10.85 plus 11.50, all divided by how many numbers I have, and in which case I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have 8 numbers. So I'm going to go back to my calculator. Bear with me for 1 second. And if I did my math correct, 10.67 is the mean or average salary. The next thing I'm going to do is my median. So for my median, I have to go through and arrange these values from lowest to highest. So lowest value, if I go through, lowest I see is the 785. I'm just going to put a little dot above it so I know that I've used that one. The next is 850. I have another 850 as well. Then the next one is 925. Then we have 10.85, then 11.50, 12.65, and 16.25. So I have them all listed in order, and if I were to count to the middle from the one end, 1, 2, 3, so 1, 2, 3, 4, there's my middle. But if I count from the other end, right, or if we keep going, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there are 8 numbers, so that means I have an even number. So that's why if I count to the middle, so 1, 2, 3, 4, I go to 925. But if I count from the other end, 1, 2, 3, 4, I end up at 1085. This is what happens when we have an even number. We come to 2 middle numbers. So what we have to do is take the average of these 2 middle numbers. So for my median, I have to do 9.25 plus 10.85 and divide it by 2. Which will give me a median value of 10.05. So basically what you're doing is you're finding the value in between these 2 numbers. So my median is 10.05. And lastly, my mode, which one occurs the most. So if I look back, and it helps when I put them in order because I can see which ones are multiples. The mode is 850 or 8.5. So part B, which of your answers best represents the data and why? In this case, I would say that my median best represents the data. And the reason for it is, one, the mode doesn't really, we're not too concerned about the specific value. The actual dollar amount doesn't really matter. I'm not too concerned that the most people make 850, right? If you're working at a place where there may be a lot of students, right? The student wage is going to be the mode, which doesn't really best represent the data. The median, the reason I'm choosing the median over the mean is because if I look at the mean, I have a specific value that is very high, right? All the values tend to be very low, but then there's that high value of 16.25. So that high value is an outlier. So the reason the median best represents the data is because there is an outlier. there's an outlier of 16.25. And this outlier is going to skew the data. It's going to make the average salary a lot higher than it actually is. And if I look at my two values, the mean was 1067, the median was 1005. So it raised the salary by about 52 cents. So there is quite a difference. So which answers would most which of your answers would most misrepresent the data, and why? This would be the mean for the same reason. So there is an outlier that is skewing the data. So this would be something very similar if we took the average, or we took the hourly rates of everyone in the class, and I included my own hourly rate. That would skew the data and make the hourly rate very high, because I would get paid a lot more than students. So that would be, so the mean wouldn't really represent the actual data in there. That's where the mode would, or the median, sorry, would be the better representation. But again, the main things from this is just, again, an understanding of mean, median, and mode, and how to calculate those to find the common trend.